Hello again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another speed build video in The Sims 4. I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. We're building in Sequoia today. I know, right? It's been the longest time since I've built in this amazing world. It's actually one of my favourite worlds in The Sims 4 and I don't know why I haven't built here in so long, but here we are. We're building on this lot here, which I've built on many times. I believe when Growing Together first came out, because obviously Sequoia is the world that came with Growing Together, I built here quite a lot, specifically on this one lot here. I don't know why, I'm gravitated towards it every single time, but I really wanted to create a family house today for two parents and their young daughter. So that's exactly what we did, and we also built a single story home, which is something that I wouldn't typically do, but I think for gameplay and things like that, so many people have said that single story family homes are just so much easier to play in and to kind of navigate and organize with your Sims, and so hopefully this is going to be really good for gameplay as well. You can see we've got like this little lofted bit in the top of the house, I guess you might want to call it, but that is just for decoration. Of course, if you do download this house, if you wanted to add some stairs up there, you definitely could. It's a decent sized space. You could perhaps fit a bedroom up there if you wanted to, but I decided not to do that with this particular house. It's purely for decoration, but I did end up using this brown siding from, I believe, the Growing Together pack, which I was thinking when I was building this, I haven't used, I don't think, this brown siding in particular. Now, someone may correct me if I'm wrong. Please let me know in the comments down below if I have used this siding in this swatch. I know I've used this siding, but I'm talking specifically about this more brownie swatch, and I really liked how it turned out. And I also end up changing these windows here because I think these ones are for rent, I'm pretty sure, but we end up switching them out for the windows from Horse Ranch. I thought they fit so perfectly with the vibe of this house, which I suppose could be classed as quite a traditional craftsman style family home. But what's really interesting is with the interior specifically, I decided to go with a more of a modern, like trendy, matchy vibe, which is something that I wouldn't typically do, to be completely honest, but it was just a really refreshing sort of interior for me to try out really with this house. I wanted to try something different. Obviously the fact that we're doing a single story house, that's something different for me, and so I thought, why not try something a little bit different with the interior as well and really spice things up just a little bit. So this is where I do end up changing out the windows. I just think these ones from Horse Ranch look so much better than the ones from For Rent. I love not the houses, I love the windows from For Rent, but they are quite chunky. I feel like even the short wall style windows do look better on a medium wall height because they're quite chunky. I still think they're gorgeous and I still think they looked really good with this house, but I do prefer the way these windows look, and it feels like it's been a long time since I've used the Horse Ranch windows as well, so that again, just something different and really refreshing for me. So yeah, I do think we start working on the landscaping in just a minute, but I do kind of toy around with the idea of window boxes. It feels like it's been a while since I've even considered putting window boxes on a build, but for some reason I feel like at the moment I've outgrown window boxes. I don't know. When I used to build 5+ years ago, every single house of mine would have window boxes without fail, and at the moment I can't remember the last time I added flower boxes to windows. I know what someone's gonna say. I know what they're gonna say. It was the house that I did with the businesses and hobbies expansion pack, when I did like a house for a single mum who was running a daycare from home. I'm pretty sure I put flower boxes on that house. So yeah, just ignore everything that I'm saying. But I did toy around with the idea of them. With this house, as you can see, they are currently on there, but I very quickly remove them because I just think, oh no, this just isn't working. I found the landscaping in particular with this house really quite challenging. I'm not really sure why. I'm finding landscaping a little bit challenging at the moment. Landscaping is not something I would say that I'm particularly strong at. I think I wing it. I think I can get away with what I do, which is, just kind of working out what I think looks half decent, but I do think I go a little bit overboard with landscaping sometimes. So it's really nice sometimes when I'm doing a house and doing the landscaping when I cut back on it, because usually, like with this house, I would say I've gone a little bit too overboard with the landscaping. I'm just being honest, okay? It took me ages to figure out what tree I wanted to use over here. Just me and my brain. I was overthinking everything with this house, which I think I do when I haven't really had a break. I don't want to say that I've had a break, because I've still been live streaming and things like that, so I wouldn't really call it a break, but because I haven't actually done a speed build for what seems like, for me, in a long time. It's been nearly 2 weeks, just short of 2 weeks, which wasn't intended, by the way. It's just that my 9-to-5 job had been particularly, I don't want to say stressful these last 2 weeks, but it's just been a bit much for me this last couple of weeks. And so when I'm coming home from work, bearing in mind that I have quite a commute, and I just didn't have the energy to film any content when I was getting home, which sometimes happens, and that is fine. But what I have been considering, and I've been saying it for the longest time, is having some videos kind of in the pipeline, so that if and when that does happen, you know, I've still got content that I can put out for you all to enjoy, and then I'm not beating myself up about, well, I haven't posted, I haven't uploaded, and like this weird guilt that I feel. And I think a lot of creators feel it, when they don't upload for a little bit, and you just like, it's not pressure anyone puts on me other than myself. I put this pressure on myself, but I know there's a lot of creators that can maybe relate to what I'm saying. But anyway, you can see that the house has come together really nicely. The landscaping, yeah, whilst it might be a little bit much, it's still really pretty. We have a lot of like deep greens, we have pops of yellow, and this beautiful, beautiful poppy red. I think the red flowers are from the debug menu from Life and Death, randomly. And I remember when that pack came out and I saw these flowers, I was like, hello. I'm a sucker for new flowers, especially when they don't really shout about, you know, the live edit and debug items in packs. But one of my favorite things to do when packs are released is to go through the live edit and debug menus, just to see what items we've received. Growing Together was another one where I think that they added some really nice landscaping pieces. But anyway, enough about live edit and debug. Let's talk about a little bit more about this house here. We do end up outlining the back garden here, and it was actually quite surprising to me that this house had as much of a back garden as it did. Because I don't know, this lot always to me feels, yes, it's one of my favorite lots to build on, and which is a little bit, what I'm about to say might seem a little bit odd to some of you, but often when I build here, I find that my back gardens, you either have to put them at the side of the house, or you really do like reduce the size of the back garden because the house has to go back so far. But with this house, which by the way is quite deceptive, it's 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, it was fine. Like the back garden it's an okay size, and to be honest, I've said this before and I'll say it again, me and back gardens don't really get along all that well. I don't think that that's news for anyone who is new to my who is like a returning viewer to my channel. Maybe it is for someone who's new here. If you are, then back gardens are just not my strong suit. I'm really trying to get better with my back gardens. I've said so many times that I need to do a little bit of research on Pinterest. I was even considering doing like a real-time build challenge video where I have to recreate basically like gardens that I find on Pinterest but in The Sims, which, you know, now that I'm saying it out loud, I might need to add that to my official build list that I refer to when I'm not really sure what I would like to film on this. You know, like if I'll sit down at my desk and I think, well, I don't really know what I want to film today. So might be a good one for the list. But yeah, so the back garden, it's okay. There's some activities back here which was really important for me. I already knew the family dynamic that I wanted to have going into this. Although for a little while I did toy around with the idea of having 2 parents, their daughter who's a child, and then an infant as well. But I feel like I've done that so many times and I haven't really done, I don't think anyway, for a while. I haven't done like 2 parents and just 1 child. So that was again just a nice refreshing idea for me going into this build, and it was just a really nice way for me to pick back up where I left off, I guess. And speaking of which, I don't want anyone to panic, because I feel like it's been a few weeks now since we've visited our Copperdale save file, and I just wanted to let you all know that is still something that I am working on continuously. I'm currently working on the high school. I did and have said in the past that the high school was going to be the last lot that I was going to work on, but to be honest, it was like this big scary thing that was looming over me like a dark cloud, and I just thought, well, if I can get that done, then I'm not dreading that final episode where we're doing the high school. So I am working on that in the background. There's going to be more real-time building with that save file as well. So I'm hoping before, let's say the end of spring, that save file will be up and ready to go. I've said it before, but you guys have uploaded so many incredible Sims to the gallery for that save file, which is just so appreciated. I can't even tell you. So yeah, it's been a process. It's been an eye-opening process as well, but I've really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, just want to let you know that I haven't forgotten about that. I haven't forgotten about our Sims 2 rotational style gameplay run through. I haven't forgotten about anything. I haven't forgotten about anything. I just wanted to let you all know. But yeah, the floor plan came together really quickly because it's just a single story house. Although, I'm not really too happy about the fact that off of the living room, there is the main bathroom. But what can you do? What can you do? It's The Sims, and to be honest, I'm completely okay with it. So I hope you all are as well. But the first room we work on is the living room here. So as soon as you walk into the house, you enter the living room, which I think for a house like this, with it being single story, would be pretty typical, to be completely honest. That room just there, that door there, that leads off to the main bedroom. The main bedroom has an ensuite, there's a main bathroom, and then there's a room for the daughter as well, and then obviously there's a kitchen dining space too, of course. But yeah, what I wanted this interior to be was quite stylish, quite chic, quite modern, matchy, but still feeling really homey and cozy. I'm really, really hoping that I ticked all those boxes with the decor here. I just wanted to try some new things, and I'm really hoping that that's coming across. I'm looking back at this footage now, and I'm thinking that this is so not like my usual style. Like, you can still tell that this is a house that's been built by me, or at least I think so. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, by the way, but yeah, I really love this house. I love the decor that I decided to go with. There's not a bunch of children's clutter all over the house like there normally would be, and it feels like a really grown-up house. Like, I'm not saying that the parents are super strict that live in this house. I think they're very house proud, and they don't necessarily, I don't want to say they don't allow their daughter, because that feels like they are very strict, but they don't really want all of her toys all over the place. But what they've said to her is, like, your room, do whatever you want with it. Have your toys everywhere. You can have whatever colour scheme you like. Anything you want, you can have. But we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get onto the daughter's room, which, by the way, is so cute. I absolutely adore it. But yeah, the living room came together really nicely. I do end up switching out this sofa. This sofa is from the Growing Together pack. It's one of my favourites in the game, actually, but it just wasn't really fitting with the vibe. Like, it kind of does, but also kind of doesn't at the same time. I don't know if anyone would agree or disagree with that, but I do end up switching it out. I can't even remember what pack the sofa I do end up picking is from. I feel like it's from one of the new kits, but I can't really remember. But yeah, I wanted the clutter to be like clutter, but I didn't want it to be my normal RachelPedd-esque family-friendly home clutter with all of the kids' toys everywhere, and there's mess, and there's bright colours, and there's kids' drawings on the walls. I didn't want to do that with this house. It's just nice to try something a little bit different, along with the colour schemes on the outside and the inside, the choice of items and things like that. It just helps keep things fresh and fun and interesting for both you and for me. So I'm really glad that I decided to do what I did with this house. So you'll have to let me know what you think. Do you prefer my usual style family homes, or do you prefer these ones? Do you not mind either way? I'd be really interested to hear. Anyway, I do end up switching out the TV, which for this one, I think it's just from base game, to be honest. I tried to use a framed TV, but I don't know. I've only been able to make it work, I think, once or twice. A framed TV not in a bedroom. This is a living room. In a living room in one of my Sims builds. So it's a process. Maybe I'll just get used to it. But then I do end up switching out the rug. That's the word I was looking for. The rug. For the one from For Rent, which I had down the entire time and then decided that I didn't want it there. And then I decided that I did want it there. And I just love it. I have spoken recently on live streams about how much I love this rug. And every time I use it, I think of a reason not to use it, and then I remove it and use a different rug. But it was really nice that I ended up going back to it this time. It was just really refreshing yet again, and it just helped add a little bit more texture and a little bit more sort of vibrance to the room. Not in terms of colour, but in terms of just the style of the rug, I guess. I just think it worked really, really well with the colour scheme and everything that we had going on here. This hanging plant, sorry, it's not even a hanging plant, it's a wall plant from the Businesses and Hobbies pack. I knew that I was going to overuse that plant, and I can honestly say that I think in the last few builds that I've done over the last few weeks, I have used that plant every single time. And I can't see me not using it, you know, it's so perfect. But yeah, this is the sofa that I was referring to. Again, not entirely sure the name of the kit, but I know it's from one of the new kits. I loved it so much, and I ended up pulling out a couple of these base game cushions in the black and the brown swatches just to help tie in some of the black and sort of greyish browny accents that we've got going on in the rest of the room. I thought it worked really well. I love that room. I think it looks superb. There's 3 rugs in here. Is that needed? No, it's absolutely not, but it's one of my builds. It's a RachelPedd build. It's going to have a lot of rugs in it. It just is. It's funny because the main bedroom was a particular struggle of mine. I think I still added 2 rugs in there, but oh gosh, like I really wanted to add a third, and then I just thought, just because you've got the space, because as you can see, that is a big room. Just because you've got the space, Rachel, doesn't mean to say that you have to add a rug on like empty floor space, just as I don't have to add paintings to empty wall spaces either. But for some reason I do feel the need to do that, and I know there's other people that feel the need to do that as well. It's not just a me thing. But yeah, then I ended up adding a couple of mugs onto that coffee table. I was like, oh, that's just so cute. And then we move on to the kitchen. I used these counters and cabinets from For Rent. Now, it feels like it's been a little while since I've used these, but then in saying that, I think I have a sneaky feeling that I used them in another Businesses and Hobbies build where I did like the 3 different businesses on one lot, sorry, the one in San Myshuno. I'm pretty sure I used these cabinets in the apartments above there, but I could be wrong. And then I paired it with this tiling. Oh my goodness, and it just came together so well. We have the pops of green in here as well to kind of match with the kitchen, because I thought that was a really nice idea, just down to the fact that we have an archway between the living room and the kitchen, and I just thought it helped add a little bit of continuity, a little bit of flow to the whole build. I really liked that. So, and it was really important for me again to have that more modern vibe. Like, this is not a kitchen that I would usually do, but I am so happy with how it came out. I really am. I even added some of these strip lights underneath the cabinets as well, which I thought just added that little bit more detailing. We've got a really cool coffee machine on here, and I have come to realize as well, I think we need more microwave options in this game. I believe we only have 3. Unless I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me if I am, but I believe we only have 3 microwave options. And yes, I am aware that there's only so many types of microwaves that you can have, right? But for example, I know now there's a lot of people that have built-in microwaves in their homes. I think that's like a new thing, or a newish thing anyway. I personally don't have one. I just have a regular run-of-the-mill microwave in my kitchen in real life. But there's so many people that have built-in microwaves now. I feel like we're getting into that world now with The Sims where we need to be thinking about adding things like that, you know? And then I do end up in the living room. It's just a fun little detail. That little, is it like a cow skull from the Horse Ranch pack. I just thought it added like a really cool rusticy vibe, and it kind of stuck out, but in the best way possible, but it also blended in a little bit as well, if that even makes sense. I just love how that looked. So you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below of that little cow skull. I thought it looked fantastic. And then we just add a little bit more clutter to this kitchen. And then for some reason, okay, so you see this door here that leads out onto the back garden. That was really important for me to add here. But for some reason, I struggled so much with like what to put near this door. I end up adding this plant and then just a couple of pairs of shoes from the Dream Home Decorator pack. I love adding those loose shoes. We had a full-blown conversation about those shoes on one of my live streams recently, which I'll get onto in just a moment. But for some reason, like this whole bit here, it just stumped me. And then I was like, whoa, Rach, just take it back for a second. The house isn't supposed to be over cluttered. It's not supposed to be super busy. And so once I got that out of my head, I think that helped me finish off this area of the build. But yeah, on one of my recent live streams, we had like a full-blown conversation about these shoes, these decorative shoes that you can see here that we placed near the door. They're from Dream Home Decorator, and we had a conversation about how the Sims team need to add more of that sort of thing into new packs. And someone in the chat had actually suggested like having a shoe, like one shoe there and then one shoe that's kind of away from the other shoe, like fallen a little bit, just so they look a little bit more disheveled. And I loved that idea so much. Like clutter for me just really helps make a house feel like a home. It helps you tell a story for your Sims. And I personally adore cluttering up my Sims homes. I know there's so many people that do, and that's why I love it when they release like clutter packs or clutter kits, or they release a pack that has a lot of clutter items. You know, I just love that. And I know that we're getting, in the very near future, we're getting a kitchen clutter kit, I think. And whilst I'm really excited about it, I'm sort of sat here thinking, and I've mentioned this before in a very recent voiceover, I think, but I'm sat here thinking, well, what can they give us that we don't already have? I mean, I know, again, in a live stream we were talking about this, but fridge magnets would be really cool if they could snap to fridges, and then actual post-it notes that would snap to a fridge instead of the debug ones from Parenthood. That would be really fun. But yeah, I'm kind of sat here thinking, what other items could they possibly add? Again, in the comments down below, please drop me any comments, like what kitchen clutter items would you love to see in that kit? Anyway, I've spoken through both of the bathrooms. As I was mentioning at the beginning, one of them is the main bathroom, which is just this one on the left here, and then the other one is the ensuite off the main bedroom, because it was really important for me to have both of those. And then we work on the daughter's room here. Now, just as a disclaimer, we do end up changing the color scheme just slightly. So for example, these green curtains I end up switching out for the pink swatch, and then the bed I end up switching out for the purple swatch. And there was a method to my madness with this. For some reason, when I was at the end of the video, it's not even at the end of the video, sorry, I was just in between doing this room and doing the parents' room, because I think we do the parents' room last. Do we? Yeah, I think we do the parents' room last, which is quite unusual. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm mentioning that. But yeah, and then we do the garage outside. That's the last room that we work on. But it was just looking a little bit too, I don't know, like the green for me just wasn't greening. You know? It just wasn't greening. And so I decided to change them out for the pink version of, and then this wardrobe ended up being purple to match the newly changed swatch of the purple bed. Does that make sense? Probably not. I'm just waffling as always. But this was also another really good sized room, and it did come together really quite quickly. It was really important for me that this daughter had her own space. Like I said at the beginning, she doesn't have any like kids activities throughout the rest of the house, which, look, if you want to download this house and add kids clutter to the house, like, please feel free. It's just not, I wanted to try something a little bit different. Perhaps there's a storyline here that you can play out that, you know, I'm subconsciously getting across with the fact that the parents don't really like a lot of kids stuff everywhere. But look, I don't know. I don't know. But what they have said to their daughter is, look, your room is your oasis. It's your haven. have whatever colour scheme you would like in here. We'll put whatever wallpaper you want up. Posters, you got it. Computer, you've got it. Like, she's well loved, is this daughter. And this is her safe haven. This is where she comes to relax, comes to play on her computer. This is where she hangs out with her friends and maybe has sleepovers and things like that. But she has everything that she could possibly want. And I just really wanted to have this super girly, pastel-y, soft but bright colour scheme with kids clutter everywhere. This is the area of the house that I really went RachelPedd-esque, which was still really nice to do, because obviously with it being a build of mine, it's something that I adore doing, and so why not, right? And I really loved using this bed from high school years as well. I can't really remember the last time that I used this particular bed. I've said it once and I'll say it again. High school years was a solid pack for build and buy, and the world was incredible. Even though, like, I know that there's some people, when it first came out in terms of gameplay, they were like, really, is this it? With me being not really much of a gameplay girly, I can't comment, but the build and buy catalogue, chef's kiss. And then we move on to the main bedroom. This is when I had already decided that they weren't going to have an infant, and I was going to stick to my guns and just say, yes, this is where I wanted to just stick with the idea that I had at the beginning, which was that this is a house for two parents and their one daughter. Because like I said, it's been a while since I've done parents and one child, and it was really refreshing. I feel like I've said the word refreshing quite a lot during this voiceover, so please feel free, if you want to, you can play a drinking game where you could like take a shot every time I say the word refreshing. No, please don't do that. That's a bad idea, bad advice from me. But anyway, yeah, I love how this room I'm feeling really silly today, I do apologize, but yeah, I absolutely adore how this room came out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I was able to kind of fit all of the stuff that I wanted to in the nooks and crannies, because when you look at it, it's an odd sized bedroom. It's an odd size, it's an odd shape, and it was a little bit daunting when I first came in here. And then when I started decorating it, I was like, no, I can get on board with this. I really can. I think this is going to be really nice. And I love the colour schemes, again, tying in that like kind of mossy green or natural green. I don't really know like what green you would describe this as. That's how I would describe it. But I do end up adding a vanity table in here, which I'll always try and do if I've got the space to do it. And in this bedroom, you best believe I had the space. When I decided I wasn't going to put a cot/crib in this bedroom, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to put in here? And I thought it might be a kind of a nice storyline that the mum is she's a little bit glam. You know, they live in this really nice, well-kept house, and they have a beautiful daughter, and I don't know, she just seems like the sort of woman who really takes care of herself. So I think this vanity table is well used, although I don't think I had to end up adding any clutter on it for whatever reason. Oh, that would be because I don't keep it. Right, yes, just ignore everything that I said about the vanity table. The storyline is still in play, because I do think that the mum she takes care of herself. She's very glam. She's just glam. She's glam. She loves taking care of herself, and that still can be the storyline even without the vanity table. Anyway, the final room that we work on is the garage space, which is the external garage outside. I decided to turn this into like quite a traditional garage space, I suppose you could call it. It's full of clutter, it's full of old items that they've probably accumulated over the years. There's an old mirror in here, stacked chairs, like boxes of old clothes, this old sofa, and things like that. There's a woodworking bench, and we also add a ping pong table as well, and then like a punching bag. But that is pretty much it for this build and for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this, but if you would like to download this house from the gallery, you can do so right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them from SimFileShare. But thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. I really hope you enjoyed this. You all take care, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye!